Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Two Grown Men. Today, we're going to be talking about Elon Musk. But before I do that, we have a couple of special guests. Ade, welcome back.
I know how special I am, but thank you for having me.
And we also have Bimbo in the house.
Yeah, everyone calls me Red, so
Red in the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
Eric the Red.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about Elon Musk. No introductions really about who this guy is. He has several businesses: Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company, X, controversial figure, techpreneur, and other businesses. And we're going to take the conversation about him, and at some point we'll veer into Tesla and politics and some other things. So, Ade, what's your take on Elon as a person, as a businessman, and recently as a politician? What do you think, brother?
So it's either he's an evil genius or he's the luckiest man on the planet. It's one of the two things. It's either he's an evil genius or the luckiest man on the planet. So I don't know if anybody, I don't want to do a plug for any podcast, but there's a podcast I listen to called Business Wars. Has anybody listened to it?
No.
Business Wars, where they actually dissected like Tesla. It's one of the episodes where it's GM versus Tesla, and they talk about the story of history of how Tesla started and all that good stuff and everything. And obviously, it's Martin Eberhard, and I can't remember the other guy who started Tesla, who actually built the first prototype before they needed funds, and which at some point they got Elon involved. And there's a particular part in that conversation, where they try to reenact the conversations in the podcast, but they talk about how Martin Eberhard was not necessarily enamored with Elon, in that he didn't think there was going to be that much value other than the financial sort of like input that Elon had based on his previous companies. That I think he was part of the what's that company? Shoot, I forget it now. PayPal, right? That's it. He was part of PayPal, and then he sold his shares of PayPal, and then ended up buying up investing in Tesla. And then and they talk about in the episode again. I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but they talk about how his micromanaging and on-hands approach and setting in inordinate deadlines was one of the reasons why Martin Eberhard decided to leave the company, because he just couldn't deal with him anymore. So it's one of those things where sometimes I look at it as he caught the wave of a product that had already been, where the development cycle had already gone so far ahead that he couldn't really mess it up, if that's the right word. I'm not sure if, and I don't know him personally, I'm not sure if he would have had the capacity to build it from the beginning, which is why I say he's the luckiest, where I go with the lucky part of it. It's that the train had moved with Tesla so far, so quickly, and so that had gone so far along that you couldn't really mess it up before it got to the level where it's at. Now, let's come to today. When Elon wanted to buy, what's that thing called?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
He sold majority of his shares in Tesla.
No.
He sold majority of his shares, about $3.8 billion worth of shares in Tesla, to be able to create the funds to be able to start the process of buying Twitter X, or Twitter as it called X as it calls it now, which at the time people didn't understand what the hell he was doing. I did a little bit of research. Did you know that in 2024 Tesla's market share dropped by 44%? Of the let me read it again. It says fully electric vehicles were 8.1% of the US light vehicle sales in 2024. But Tesla has dropped 44% in that same period. Tesla sales in 2024, Tesla sales accounted for 49% of all EVs sold in the US. In 2024, Tesla had 75% of the EV market share in 2022. Sorry, Tesla had 75% of the EV market share in America. That has dropped to almost 44%.
Wow.
Of the market share in EVs, which tells me that other companies are catching up. The big guys are catching up. So, is it plausible that Elon has identified that the cost or the amount it takes, the effort, the energy, the research to stay in the game of EVs, the electrical EV market, is now not worth it anymore? In which case, he's systematically pulling out of Tesla. I don't know this for a fact, but I just wonder, because if, at the time you had first to market, so Teslas are like, the new thing on the block, they're the big thing. But now there's so many more competitors that your market, to maintain that big market share, is it worth maintaining that big market share when there's other areas for you to explore? SpaceX, for instance, the AI technology stuff that he's doing, the other things that he's doing. So is it a case of, which is why I say evil genius or lucky guy, is it a case of he's identified that, look, the effort is not worth, the juice is not worth the squeeze anymore? Let's start figuring out a way to move out of this space because it's eventually going to get dominated. That's on the motor vehicle side of the house. On the political side, again, this is why I'm saying it's either evil genius or master brilliant. You can't recover, in my opinion, from this kind of backlash that Tesla has gotten. It'll be difficult for you to recover, especially, like I said, when there's other players in the market who can do quality just as much as you can. I think the Chinese companies are doing pretty well. The Japanese, the Korean companies are doing pretty well. Hell, the American companies are doing pretty well. GM has Ford. I can't believe that Ford has a Mark III. Ford
Mark E.
The Mark E. How can Ford have an electric vehicle?
It's not a great car. But
that's not the point.
I'll let you finish. Yeah.
The point is, Ford has also jumped into the space. The Mustang, one of the muscle cars, one of the definition of a muscle car, has an electric version. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. But that is what I'm talking about. The market share isn't the threat to his dominance in the market share is coming, and maybe he has identified that and he's thinking, all right, it's time for me to pull out of it. That's on that hand. On the political side, and I'll run on quickly. On the political side of it, it's the same thing. If he realizes that, look, I need to step out of this space and move into some other space, is it not better for me to tie my hands to this President Trump guy who's going to allow me to gut the FAA, who's going to allow me to gut the all of the agencies that are hindering my SpaceX development, take over, quote unquote, NASA, take over all of the other environments where I can thrive, and take away my position within Tesla. I can't figure him out at this point, but it's either one of those two things, and I'll stop there.
Okay. Are you saying that Elon Musk is the Antichrist? But one second.
Jesus,
I'm going to sort of
come from?
I'm going to take this. I'm going to take. I always choose violence.
Jesus.
I'm going to take this conversation back a second. Back to just Elon at this point.
Well, let me try. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's
hear you.
Okay, so you did say I think it could be a bit of both. Full disclosure, I've been following Elon from God knows when. Bought my first Tesla shares, maybe like 2013. Martin Eberhard and Mark Tappinen, those are the two guys.
Tappinen, that's his name, Tappinen.
Yes, and you are right, but there's a pattern. Would they have started it? No, they actually came to him with a working prototype. He gave them, was it 60 million or 6 million, and he became the highest shareholder. But what Martin Eberhard said was, Martin Eberhard doesn't talk to him, still a shareholder. He never went to any of the reveals. He will never talk to him. But Martin Eberhard said, so Elon is a savant. Let's give him that. Martin Eberhard said, as much as Elon frustrated him, they will come to Elon, the first Roadster, the one, the two-seater that came, they will come to Elon with a prototype. And Elon will be like, no, this thing is not good looking enough. And he will say they should hold on. Then they will go and chase every single thing in this world. And they'll just be there waiting. And in between, Elon flew to the UK because that the first Roadster was a Lotus Exige.
Exige.
Yeah, Exige. and he'll come with something good. And they're like, as much as this guy frustrates me, but when it comes with the finished product, he has the eye. So they were trying to figure it out, but Elon is, I don't know if it's alpha male, but he takes up all the air in the room. He doesn't want to share. He pretty much pushed up Eberhard. They came, it was going to be CFO. Elon said no, they should first put because he's not a co-founder. He said they should make co-founder. Then, those guys just came one day. Elon had sent out an email because initially you deposit money, then they will do the press release. You wait 2 years before you even see what the car looks like. And Elon had put himself as founder, whatever. So, to what you're saying, Elon has the eye for opportunities. That is granted. Beyond having the eyes for opportunities, he knows how to monetize. He played games with Tesla. He would lie about. Let's not even talk about he would lie about the self-driving capabilities. The first driving, again, full disclosure, I've been a beta tester from the first iteration, and the first video that he released in 2016, where the car self-drove, was actually
fake.
Fake, yeah. Which he came out, yeah, it was fake. Which he came out to admit, which he came out to admit later. But for like 3 years, we all believed. He said your car is going to start from California, come drive to New York, self-drive. Then it had 4 cameras, then AP1, then it came to AP2. It was partnership with Mobileye. Yeah. But what I'm saying is he's a savant, he knows how to make money, but it doesn't preclude that he can be a bad guy. He mixes everything. That his issues with X is how he got into X is different. You guys know about his kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
yes.
What he
The gender stuff.
What he popularized as the woke mind virus, which is he himself and the president have something in common. They are not people you want to fight with. He's somewhere on the spectrum. He will do whatever it takes. There was a time Tesla was literally going to go broke, and this guy didn't care. Like, if you guys are going to kill it, there was a website, Tesla Death Watch, I think 2007, 2008. Yeah, where lobbyists, all companies, the people he's in bed with now, really wanted it to die. And the first Model S, there was a reporter for, I think it's not New York Times. He did a hatchet job. He didn't charge it. Did this thing about where they had to tow the car. And Elon was like, you guys are going to kill the company. I'm going to stand my ground. He will hitch his horse where he believes, and he will make it work. I don't think the company is dead.
Oh no,
I don't think he can straddle both worlds. Something has to give. He has to either walk away from DOGE or walk away from Tesla. He's not going to walk away from Tesla. And they can't be voted out. He has his brother Kimball on the board, and if Kimball doesn't turn against him, nobody can push him out. They have that. They have that majority, between them. So I think you're right. He's also lucky because when those guys came to him, when Mark and Martin came to him, his thing was he had gotten money from PayPal. His thing has always been SpaceX. I want to go to Mars. I want to do this, but opportunities seek him out. They came to him. They showed him the skateboard prototype.
So I don't mean to cut you off. Let me ask you this question. If it wasn't Elon and it was Cuban, it was the Shark Tank guys.
Yeah.
Any of the Shark Tank guys that Martin and the other guy had come to with the Tesla prototype. Do you think Tesla would still be where it is today?
Probably not.
You see, not. That's the thing. That's where you and I
think it might exist. It might be a different company, but I think that history is defined by these visionaries,
right?
And whether you're Henry Ford,
right,
or you're the Wright brothers, or you are Nikola Tesla or you're Alexander Graham Bell. I think the people we celebrate for these inventions are not necessarily the people who are the primary forces behind them. Okay, so you'll take Alexander Graham Bell is credited with the first telephone call.
Yeah.
Was he the first? Nope, not really.
No,
He didn't
no,
invent
it wasn't the
technology.
first.
No, but it goes to the
So,
point. So if it wasn't Elon, nobody else would have pushed it. Because I remember. So Iron Man. I don't know if you guys can see.
Mhm.
I'm just a little bit of a geek. Iron Man was Elon Musk. When the
He
Robert
is
Downey
Elon
Jr. and
Musk.
all thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It was fashioned after Elon Musk.
he's
Then
still
was
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the character.
No, there's an
Yeah.
original character in the comic which is old. But when they were doing the movies, I don't know if you guys know. There's this publication. It's called With But Why. They write really, really good articles. So they had written something about Elon called the raddest man alive.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and this whole thing around him, this mystique around him, was beginning to grow, and he. I don't want to say he capitalized on. He used it well. So Elon knew how to use. Before he bought Twitter, he had so many followers. He had a cult, pretty much a cult following
Yeah.
where he could do no wrong, and he was.
I was a member of that cult.
Yeah, and he was very, very interactive. I still have people who we started together who still they're not happy with him, but they can't even say they're not happy with him. They would rather just keep quiet. But the way he did Tesla, the marketing moves he did, I am not sure a Cuban or anyone would have done. You have to realize till today, Tesla has not put out a single car advertisement on TV, on radio. There's not a single commercial for a Tesla car, period. How did he sell this car? He said it was going to go from luxury. He went to Silicon Valley. He got like really, really expensive people. And then you put down 5K, which it's accessible when you're putting down 5K for whatever. And then whoever you tell becomes like a Ponzi. You bring people and you get referrals. The car reveal was you'll get an invite. It was special. The marketing was absolutely genius. The amount of things I got, Lami knows, the amount of things I got just from being an early Tesla adopter will be almost 30 grand. I got a Powerwall, I got the car, I got, just bring one person, you get 22-inch set of rims. You bring one person, you get a Powerwall. Like literally. And so what's my incentive? I want a Powerwall. All my guys, come and get Tesla. Everybody come and get Tesla. So it started with the S. When the X was going to be revealed, you get a ticket and flight ticket, cozy, whatever, fly down. If I've watched Shark Tank long enough, I don't think any of those guys will be able to, because he was connecting.
Sorry, I'm not speaking particularly about Mark Cuban or the Shark Tank characters.
No, I agree.
What I'm trying to say is, I think, and I could be wrong because I wasn't there, and there's no way to know because it's obviously what has happened, and you can't go back in time and see what. In my opinion, I think the Tesla strategy, or the way the car was being developed and the way the product was being developed, I think Elon probably accelerated its development 3, 4, 5-fold. But in my opinion, it could have still worked 2 or 3-fold because
possibly.
I don't know Martin. I don't know Mr. Eberhard from anywhere. I don't know him from anything. But from the research I've done and from the information that I gathered from listening to that podcast, the mind of the man was such that was going to be something that he was going to do regardless. It's only a matter of time before finding. Maybe it's a case of finding the right person who marketed it for you. Yes, I agree. There's no way you could have known. But I think the mind of the man was such that those cars would have come out irrespective. But let's flip it. Let's turn it back on its head, which is where I'm going by when I say the man is either a mastermind or the luckiest man on the planet. You said something that
both.
you said that you think
I think it's a little bit of both, yeah.
his main goal is space and all those kind of things.
Yeah, that was where it started with.
This is why I say I think this is why he pitched his tent with someone like President Trump, because he knows
possible
that if he's in that room with somebody like that, that person will give him this DOGE idea where he can go in and pretty much got the FAA, got the what's that? There's
the EPA, the FAA, all the
there's another one. There's another major one. There's another major one. I forget the name.
The Federal Telecoms Agency. Is it FTC?
It's the Consumer Protection Agency. This is Consumer Protection Agency.
Okay.
The one that, the one that says, all right, you can't do this about to people. I think that is a strategic move. That is a strategic move, and I'm convinced it is so that whatever issues SpaceX ends up having, he will be able to be in a position where he can be judge and juror of whatever sort of litigation that is against him. And I think he's on the way to letting go of Tesla. I honestly believe, because again, this is what I'm saying. Just all you have to do is look at the numbers. The market, you cannot dominate unless you are like even the McDonald's and the Burger Kings of the world. Their market share, even though it's still high, has peaked. There's no way they are ever going to get to that 90% market share again or 80% market share. How much does it cost them to keep themselves at that level? We have not asked ourselves, how much does it cost Tesla to keep itself at the level where it's the number one EV in the EV market? If it's going to compete against China, where Chinese companies, where they can produce at a cheaper rate, they can do much more of those things. They can sell within their market.
Scale, yeah.
They can sell within their market, which is like a 2 billion people market alone. They are going to end up dominating that market. It's only a matter of time. You can't control it forever. So if I'm a businessman, I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe my race at Tesla is run. Maybe it's time for me to figure out something else. All right, what do I figure out now? And that's why I'm saying That's what I'm saying. I don't know him. I'm just thinking, because he could have figured out other ways to get money.
I don't see it though.
No, he could have figured out other ways to fund his Twitter purchase. The very first thing he did was to sell his Tesla shares.
No, he's still a majority shareholder in Tesla.
No, but he sold $3.8 billion worth of Tesla shares already
at a peak. At a peak.
I agree.
An inflated price.
No, I agree. But he still got rid of them.
Yeah.
And now let's fast track. Let's fast track, because this is what I saw it. I went to I own a Tesla. I went to do a repair of my car 2 days ago, and I saw a bumper sticker. The woman on her car said, I owned this before. I got this before Elon went crazy.
Yeah.
So doing that. If there's a lot of people that are, in my opinion, if there's a lot of people that are having that sort of reaction, that backlash is not going to go away.
So that's why I'm saying I don't see it.
Okay.
I think I don't know. You could be right, and I'm not. What I'm saying is none of us.
No, you have already told me that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. Now you told me literally what I'm saying doesn't make sense. So I'll just keep quiet.
That's not what he said.
We can play this back. My thing is, this guy has gone from at one point being the most popular, one of the most liked people, to being one of the most detested people. Is actually more hated than the president. If you put both of them side by side, people will stone him before they stone Trump right now. And I don't think he anticipated that level of backlash. I could be wrong, but there's a disconnect where he's felt, I can do this. And I think, which is where I agree with you, the DOGE play, one thing we're not also looking at is, this is an IT guy. It's getting access to like serious data, which is going to show him where serious opportunities lie.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to remain in DOGE. He doesn't have to remain in the government. And so I mean, Tesla would have died without Obama in 2008. That's where he got the money from. Tesla would have died without California with all the rebates. Now he has turned his back on the base that built him. And and he didn't expect. I mean, people can say, no, we're done with you, but the level of hate is getting, because I've seen some interviews he's given where he's genuinely shocked at why people are happy that Tesla is dying. And I'm like, this man, I didn't expect this, but it's a shock. It's the same way how it's the unknown that he never factored in. And Trump has so much as much insinuated is going to be leaving soon, quicker than they anticipated. And I think it's because, he's. Yeah.
Do you think?
I don't know what soon means.
So, do you think, this is what I'm saying, do you think the genie can be put back in the bottle? Or do you think Pandora's box can be closed again?
So, I don't have that much on Trump.
Not Trump,
on
Elon.
So, I don't have that much faith in human beings. We have ways of having short memories and looking away. If people can't draw a direct line, say, this is the guy that's costing me my job, or they will mentally justify it one way or the other. I don't know. I'm not saying this for a fact. Even if he takes like a back seat and still remains there without being the face, I think I don't. So you use the McDonald's example. I don't think Tesla is going back to that electric
market
car.
share domination.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not even the best built car. I have another electric car now, and the fits and finishes different, like night and day compared to the Tesla.
My point exactly.
So they're coming for him. They're coming for him hard. The only advantage, which is the supercharging network, nobody's close. But I think that just gives them a runway of 3 years max.
So even that supercharger network, it's predominantly in the United States.
Oh yeah.
Predominantly
UK
and parts of Europe.
Predominantly in the United States. Predominantly in the United States. Again.
Oh, on the world stage, he's done. I think they're not. Yeah.
When China decided, and it's not if, when China has decided, you know what, we're going into the EV market and we're going to flood that market with cars.
Oh, they've already gone into it.
Well, and I said that's when they've decided, you can't compete with them. I don't care who you are.
No, you can't.
So this is where I'm going, and I hate to sound like a broken record, which is where I'm going. Which is why I said, people at that level, very rarely make uncalculated mistakes.
It's not a mistake.
I am convinced. I don't know the man personally. I am convinced his play is SpaceX. His play is the bigger picture than Tesla. And if Tesla is going to be the collateral damage, be it.
So there's something. Well, so someone has said something about it, which is what he's also, his daughter said that he's never cared about any of these things. That for him, everything is what gets him closest to power. So if Tesla is going to be the albatross is going to stop him, so you may be right. I mean, you may be right. I don't know. I just. That's why I'm not.
Nobody come for me. My mama don't get. I just talk my own. I don't know anything about it. And you are right about You are right about that driverless car thing. When I first heard that thing, about the full self-driving mode, and when I went to buy my own, they were like, if you buy it now, it's $10,000. You put $10,000 less, you can get the full self-driving mode.
Oh, when did you get yours?
2022.
Oh, I got mine for free.
No. I told them. Even then, I said no. It's not going to work. I don't see a situation where a fully self-driving car can be on the road and anticipate a madman. We are from Nigeria now, so my mind works with Nigerian drivers.
Yeah, think about downfall jumping.
The car is not going to be able to calculate that this person is going to stop. Or this person is not going to run across the road, or that person is not going to veer into my lane. And to me, it was one of those plays or one of those marketing plays. And he sold that for years and years and years and years until today.
He's still selling.
They're still doing beta. They still send me They are pushing
So
like.
have you ever used it?
I've tried to use it, but even me, I can't. I can't understand how it can't.
I talk like Bimbo and I have a weekly, like
Yeah.
twice a week. We have a
When
bi-weekly
I'm going into
call,
work. Yeah.
all right? When he's going into work, and that entire time. Now, the first time this thing happened there, when people were talking about his Tesla, and he said, "Look, Lami, this guy's going to park itself." It was. I remember that day.
Yeah.
It was your garage in New Jersey. No,
Yeah.
this guy's going to park itself, and he demonstrated it. Then the following day, he was going to work, and I said, "Show me." So he turns the video on, and Bimbo's hands are folded. All right.
My hands are on the stairs.
Sorry. Anyway, what I recall is Bimbo.
Viewers, his hands were on the steering.
Yes.
You're going to say that closely. His hands
were on the steering wheel.
Steering. Allow me, take it away.
Wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he goes, this car. Anyway, Bimbo's like, the car will change lanes. I'm at an intersection now. The car will navigate its way through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've seen Bimbo say things like, why is the car taking this particular route? Or I've seen people say, when we get to this particular point, I will take over because it's a busy intersection and the car sometimes gets confused.
To your point, I don't want to.
And then, but over time, this same car, we're now at this same intersection, and Bimbo doesn't do that thing anymore. Where he now doesn't need to do it as often anymore. It seems that the car has now learned.
So yeah, very good point there. So the first version that I started with 6-7 years ago, it's like I've watched a baby grow. I've gone from literally going off ramp and the car wanting to just jump off the ramp and me dragging it back to not recognizing it's supposed to know a green light, and I see a red light and the green light is up on the other side and it still sees that green and wants to run the red light. To actually now knowing I've seen the improvement. Is it going to be full self-driving? We don't have that compute power yet. It's not, there are too many edge cases, but there's a big difference between then and now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Are the Waymo cabs not self-driving?
They are, but they use a different technology. They use LiDAR. So yeah.
But your car has LiDAR, doesn't it? Your car has LiDAR.
No.
Your car has LiDAR.
I have LiDAR. Radar and vision. So it's just like so that's another. It's like the Betamax VHS thing. He doesn't believe in LiDAR. LiDAR doesn't do well in snow with depth. Vision. So and LiDAR is the technology still. It's not new, but it's still bulky. They've not been able to get it. So you see all those things. They have all this big LiDAR stuff. I'm not sure he's winning. So with the Waymo things, they're geofenced. They map out a whole area, and they do well within that area. For Tesla, we are the guinea pigs. Yeah, you just stick it on the road and just use Google Maps. I think it's Google Maps in the background or Apple Maps. I can't remember which. And
so go ahead, please.
I was saying initially. So before, once it does any of this nonsense, I'll just click report.
Right.
It will upload the video, and then they'll use it for training data, and it will fix it. Yeah, you're gonna say something.
I want
to say that I wanted to hear from Laomi. Laomi, what are your thoughts so far on the conversation?
I was going to say what Ade said about McDonald's and KFC. Do you remember Apple and how at some point over time Apple computers have become more and more unaffordable? They become more and more expensive. And there are cheaper alternatives to your Apple phone, to your Apple tablet, to your Apple computer. They're cheaper alternatives. But Apple remains the gold standard for some of us for computing.
Yes.
We know it's not perfect. It's a walled garden. We know it's not perfect.
Yes.
But some of us are just so into that space. Bimbo, I've been a Mac now for 20 years.
I
feel like with Tesla, I feel like even though it's not like the Chinese will eat their lunch. Okay, they're $30,000 EVs now with 300, 400 mile range. But sorry, 1 second. Where I'm going is this. I feel like Tesla is not done. For the simple reason that Apple is not. Look, Apple continues to innovate. And we say now that Apple is more iterative than innovative.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not breaking new ground. Unlike when
iPhone, iPad, started,
when Steve Jobs was alive, they were innovative, and a lot of technology we use now. I mean, I remember when the first iPhone launched, and it changed. I had a Sony Ericsson P900 or something at that time. Okay, and that was state of the art. It had a tablet, it had everything, and then the Apple phone came out, and I remember being skeptical about it. And then I moved to a BlackBerry with the keypad, with the physical keypad, because I didn't trust the on-screen, because the on-screen keypad on my Sony Ericsson phone wasn't great. And I remember my cousin, Koye, saying, look, he was an early adopter of the iPhone. And he was like, look, this thing is perfect. I remember buying one, and then I had an iPhone, and then I still had a BlackBerry for work. And then BlackBerry launched their full keyless, what's it called now? The full tablet thing.
Mhm.
I bought one, used it for one day, and I was like, I can't do this. It was just so far behind the Apple device.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? And Bimbo's always said something to me. Bimbo's always said that, look, when I remember arguing with Bimbo a couple of years ago.
Red.
Yeah,
A couple of years ago,
you.
Red and I had this conversation about the big car makers, the traditional car makers, coming for Tesla. And I remember Red saying they can come, but this guy will keep innovating. And Red said at that time that the fear was more going to be the Chinese than the Germans. It was going to be the Chinese guys that were going to come, and they were going to come with most likely a cheaper product that wasn't necessarily better, but because it was more affordable, they'd get the numbers. And by getting the numbers, you now make the Tesla product more aspirational than anything else. And so I'm sticking to Ade's point now. Could that then be the future of Tesla? Could it just be that Tesla becomes the higher end? I mean, they're not electric Rolls Royces.
I think Ade has a point though, because right now
I agree with Ade. I'm just
I don't think I'm buying another Tesla right now.
Wow.
Well, is that because of the technology, or because you don't like that throws nothing?
I don't like the guy. He's I don't think I share the value system. I told you I was called to invest in SpaceX, and I passed on it. No, I didn't even have the money anyways. So
you get the money, you call the money to your hand, Jerry.
so
Agabola.
How much is money?
How much is
The
money?
conversation is getting too serious. Let's flex it.
No, but
How much is money?
The problem with the competition is the advantage Tesla has over the Fords, the Benz, and everything is those guys cannot make a compelling enough electric car without cannibalizing their best cars. Because I mean, you have one. There's no way you're going to drive an S-Class electric that drives and gives you everything the ICE S-Class gives you that you ever want to go back to the engine. So they have to hold something back. That's why you see them, they're half-stepping on the range, they're half-stepping on the technology, because...
Yeah, that's why they're doing the hybrids. And
yes, even with their full electrics, they're locking... I'm sure it's software lock, because you have the same battery capacity with a Tesla, and it's giving you less range. But they don't come hard. You get the good seats, you get everything, but technology-wise, the self-driving, they hold back, and they still push the best things into their ICE cars. The day they decide, you know what, we're going full steam, like we are ready for this ICE to die, I think Tesla will be done. For the Chinese, on the world stage, Europe's reaction to Tesla is visceral, like really, really bad. Like they're not buying in Germany, they're not buying in Italy. Now, I don't know if the Chinese have been able to penetrate those markets. If they have, it's goodbye. We have blocked ourselves with tariffs. We've refused to learn. They did the same in the 90s until...
Sorry, by we, you mean Nigeria or America? Because
America. And
I'm the only person in Nigeria here now. I don't
we're all
understand
Nigerian now.
Okay, we're all Nigerians.
No, but I'm the only person physically in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Well, so in the 90s, Americans were building these really ugly cars. They were telling them, like, and they will put like Chevy Caprice 6.7 liter engine come to a yacht and everything. The Japanese tried to come in. They did this whole tariff business and stuff. I think it was not Toyota. I think it was Toyota that first found a derelict factory in California somewhere and started building their cars. The Japanese cars, they were built in America. And over the next course of, because you'll notice like the 92 Honda will have auto winder, the American specs car will still be manual winder. Maybe to have the, and they will be ugly. It will be like massive. They didn't. The only thing they care about that time was 0 to 60, which is a uniquely American thing. If you go to Europe, nobody really cares about 0 to 60, 5.4 seconds and stuff. They're just like straight line performers. So I think if the Chinese find a way to either manufacture here, which would be a win for this guy, because that's what he's saying he wants, I think Tesla is dead. But so I don't know.
Let me jump in quickly because I have to hop off very soon.
Okay.
So first things first, allow me the Apple comparison. See, Apple can innovate as much as they want because the average phone is even going to cost $1,000. And I, as a consumer, I can afford to change my iPhone every year. If I want to, I can change my iPhone every single year. That's why they come with an iPhone every single year. And I take the old one in, I get the new one, I put the streaming plan on it, and I keep just changing and changing and changing. I can't do that with an EV because it's $40,000 or $34,000, however much you want to do it.
Depending on which one. The 75,000.
BMW now have it. They have a subscription model now where you can subscribe and change your car every so often.
You see, that's the thing.
You don't own the car,
the likelihood.
you subscribe.
Let me the likelihood that somebody will change their car every year is less than somebody will change their phone every year.
Absolutely.
That's number one.
Fair enough.
Number two, this is where I'm going with the whole thing. You see, as I'm talking about Elon, Tesla is not going to die. I'm not saying Tesla is going to die. I'm not even saying Tesla is going to wipe off the planet. What I'm saying is I can see a scenario where he starts diluting himself, his influence in Tesla or his overall control of Tesla to allow him focus on other things.
Absolutely.
So Tesla is sort of like the platform, the platform that has helped put him on the world map, the cash cow that has built him. And now he's, in my opinion, I could be completely wrong. I don't know if I'm kind of paint. He's looking at other things because the other players in the market, and these players can build something. You are right. Teslas are not built properly. The aerodynamics are crap. One because they don't assemble them in the same place. They don't even build they assemble them but they don't build parts in the same place. So like your left side is built in China, your right side is built in Korea, or the window, the top is built in another part. They just slap them together, and then you have all these spaces that are not right. I agree. Cool. I'm telling you. So they're not the best, and they're not even the most sort of comfort wise and all this. What they had before was the technology. What they had before was the first to market. They were the first to really go into it and put themselves on the market.
First mover advantage.
That first mover advantage is diminishing now. In my opinion, it's diminishing rapidly.
I think it's diminished.
Gone.
It's rapidly diminishing. The Lucids, these guys are in there now. There's the Rivian. There's these BYD. There's Inos. Who is the one that did Niger one? There's one the Niger one now. Innocent. Yeah, shake your head. I'm telling you, shake your head all you want. There will come a time where those cars are in the Nigerian market. You will see. But I'll wrap up quickly.
BYDs and Co are here. They're here already.
Let me just wrap up quickly. At its peak, Tesla's peak, it owned 7.5% of the entire vehicle market share, not EV. 7.5% of the entire vehicle market share. That is a small amount compared to the larger scope. If it's costing them a lot of money, if it's costing him a lot of money to maintain or stay at that level when there are other people in the market, does it not make sense for me to pull that back now? I say, I've already made all the money I'm ever going to make. I'm not the most money I'm going to make. I'm not going to make 4,000. How much were they selling? $40,000 when the first Model 3s came out. I think it was $40,000 or so. a car. I'm not going to make that anymore. It's now going to get less, but the cost to build those cars is only going to get more and more and more. So my profit margins is going to reduce. Is it not better for me to move into something else? Which is why I'm saying, and I'll finish on this point, I think the man is a full genius because he has figured out a way to transition out of that. And this backlash people are talking about, fine, I can sell all my shares and move into SpaceX. Nobody cares about
He's moved
SpaceX
on.
now. Yeah, I'm saying nobody cares about SpaceX now because there is still this NASA sort of like umbrella. There's still this issue, and it doesn't directly affect me as a person. When that starts happening, then people start going after him for that one. So, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Unfortunately, I have to run now. So, let me know. I mean, you're going to edit this part out, correct?
No.
Nope, we're going to leave it inside.
So, all right, people. So,
thanks for joining us.
All right, people.
All right, nice to meet you, man. All right, later.
Have a good one.
Gracias, hermano. I was going to say that Elon has actually moved on. So they announced the merger between XAI and X, right? Grok AI and X.
Yeah, Grok.
I think I said that to you, Bimbo, that I think that's Elon's next play. And I think he believes that that's the future, that AI is, and look, AI is the future. But I believe he believes that so firmly that, and when he's combined, he has an advantage. Combining Twitter, X with Grok AI gives, for example, I've been on Twitter for over a decade. Okay. He's able to model my evolution. And I'm not a very active Twitter user. But there are guys who tweet 10 times a day who've done so.
There's training data.
There's a lot of training data. So I now use I use Grok AI, I use ChatGPT, I use DeepSeek, I use Gemini, and I compare results. I sent Yemi something this morning. I was like, Yemi, I did some research. All right. And I used Grok, I used all like 4 AI platforms. I got the same results. It was unanimous, right? But in the level of detail and the level of analysis that I got, Grok led. Okay. Even when it said, oh, do it this way, it had the same answer as everybody else. But the answer was more detailed. Even in the conclusion, the pros, the cons, everything was just better. And I don't think it's because the guys at Grok have bigger brains. I think it's just that they have a lot more, not just volume, but diversity of training data. I don't think the world yet understands how they're going to monetize this AI. All right. It's one of those things where you start it and then as you figure it out as you go along. I don't believe that when Elon bought Twitter, it was because of AI. I don't believe so. I believe he bought it because he wanted to silence it, but he wanted a voice to achieve a particular reason. And then now he owns it. And people kept asking, what do you want to do with this thing? And I figured now he owns it, and now he suddenly realizes, you know what? I can do something else, which is what smart people do, right? I can do something else with this product. And I think he's seen something. That decision to merge them, and you know he has this issue with OpenAI and ChatGPT, and he sued them. And I thought he just figured, you know what? I can beat you guys at this game now. And he's had enough time to learn what they know and see how they've built their training. I thought, you know what? And it's not necessarily Elon, it's just some guy in his think tank that goes, you know what, boss, how about we do this? And once you have the means and the opportunity, that's really what you need, isn't it? Opportunity and means to achieve whatever you need to achieve. He's the wealthiest man on this planet. He has the means. He owns the platform. Okay, I can do this. I suspect that if he didn't own Twitter on that day, he would have bought Twitter. If somebody had said to him, I think that if we merge Grok with Twitter or with any of these platforms, whether it was Facebook or whatever it is, that we can actually create a better AI product. These open AI guys that are annoying you, I think we can figure out a way to beat them at their own game. I think he would have bought it on that day. He would have gone ahead and bought it and broken the bank for it. But he already owned it. Okay. And I think that that's what his next play is. I think Elon has already figured out how, maybe not the full picture yet. Like when he launched the Tesla Roadster, I don't think he had the full picture where they were going, but they had an idea of where we'd like to get to. Okay, we have a vision. He's a visionary. Where I'd like to get to is here. How I'm going to get there, I don't know. And I might get there and realize I could go even further or go in a different direction when I get there. So I feel like this is what's happened with Grok, and that this is Elon's next play. SpaceX is there, but there are headwinds. Don't forget, there was also the Boring Company. Do you remember the Boring Company?
Yeah, it's still
Is
trying.
this
still
but it's still trying,
still there? Yeah.
it's still trying to do it
Oh,
in
it's
Texas. Yeah.
Oh, it's still at it. But my point is that we've now gotten to a point where, like Ade keeps saying, perhaps Tesla's run its course. The market dominance is done. Okay, what's the next thing? I think part of what has made Elon is being ahead of the curve. He's not necessarily the best innovator, but he's been, so with PayPal, okay, PayPal innovated or revolutionized like e-commerce.
Payment, yeah.
Okay,
E-commerce without banks.
E-commerce generally. All right, so he's at the forefront of this movement. He didn't start it, but he's able to, like you said, see the opportunities, monetize them, and get out. Get out. Teflon done. Get out. Okay. Then he was in the EV space. Look, trailblazer. And like, if Ade is correct, I'm getting out of it. I'm getting out. The next thing is AI. I'm on the front door. I was there with OpenAI, and we didn't seem to gel. So I was going to start. I had the money to start my own.
It wasn't the same. He tried to do the same thing, right? And they refused to give him the C title.
Yeah. So it's like, well, that's my point. That okay, it didn't gel for whatever reason. I will go and do my own. I'm going to shut up now. But I think that what we're seeing is his next play. And watch this space. I think he might not be the market leader for very long.
Oh, he's not.
But he'll be there long enough to. He'll be there long enough to change the world.
So,
and the next thing will happen. Yeah.
Let me comment a little bit, in the conversation. So, Elon Musk, as we've said, depends on what part of the divide you sit on. It could be an evil genius. It could be a genius, period. He's a trailblazer. He's done many businesses, SpaceX, Tesla X, etc. I see him as somebody who's constantly trying to play 4D chess, not even 3D chess. Like, he's literally always trying to be one step ahead. I see the move to buy X in line with previous billionaires. At some point, you're a billionaire and you don't have power. If you can't get political power through office, the next power you can get is the media. And that's why there are lots of billionaires, without mentioning names, that have had affiliations with either a major newspaper, a major radio station, because they want to frame the narrative of how people think, right? And how do you do that without having media? And then obviously, I think that also gave him a bargaining chip when it came to getting close to Trump. Like, okay, what can I do for you? I already have this space. Okay, Tesla probably won't do much for Trump, but Twitter could. So I saw that link between him buying it and then. But in terms of, it's difficult to kind of like predict his next move. But like you said, allow me and read, looking at Grok as a big time rival to OpenAI, with the chatbot that Grok already has, which is integrated into X. Like Laomi said earlier, that's already a master stroke, because it's already integrated the same way we have like WhatsApp and Instagram, and you see that link with Facebook. They're all sort of like that ecosystem going. But I see him kind of like going fully into the AI space, like you said. Some kind of like X will now have unfiltered information. Anybody can go there and say whatever they want to say. Maybe replace Google for some users, have that one-stop shop where you don't have to go to different platforms to do things. So you can go to X, you can actually look for stuff there. It can help you write emails, and at the same time you're responding to somebody saying something in Australia, and at the same time probably adding some other products just to make sure that you are on X. So I see it as trying to transform X into some kind of like super app. So think China's WeChat, but with a westernized lens. So it'll be interesting to see.
He has actually mentioned that about.
Has he? Okay.
Yes, in the past, I wants it to be a payment system and everything.
Exactly. I was just going to say that digital wallets,
what,
video streaming, podcasting. Yeah. I mean, X already has that with similar to what Clubhouse has, where you can, Twitter Spaces, where I don't know how successful it is, but where people go and just speak, and it's audio based. So you can see where the direction is going from X. I don't know what's next for him from a political lens. Like you said, Red, you'll probably have to choose one, but I think he's going to have some kind of impact on US policies when it comes to things like artificial intelligence, which is AI, and probably something to do with free speech regulation. But it'll be interesting to see if he can turn around his public image. I don't see that happening anytime soon, if I'm honest. And I agree with with all of you so far. It's going to be difficult. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult.
Very.
Does he care? But does he really care?
I think he does.
No, but he's publicly said he cares. That's the point.
I think he cares. He's
publicly said it.
So he writes on crowd feedback. You can see it on Twitter.
You can see him when he's on Saturday Night Live or any of the other shows. You can see he likes it. He's
not like
he likes the adulation. He likes the adulation.
Yeah, he likes attention.
He likes adulation.
He likes attention. Yeah.
I think a lot of the things he does, even his involvement with Trump's campaign and everything, he could have taken a back seat. And I know there are a few billionaires who took a backseat, but Elon Musk is not a shrinking violet. He's not the guy in the back. And I think he got so carried away with that Nazi salute. All right, he got so carried away with his excitement.
It was excited. He was excited. It was. You said we can't curse, right? So it was a nephew.
Sorry,
like,
forgive
me. What was that?
Look, that was from the abundance of his heart. I think Elon harbors some. I think he harbors some supremacist tendencies. I think he harbors some because
you're not the only person that said that. You're not the only person.
He's been. I mean, this narrative that in South Africa they're killing farmers, they're doing all that, and in the moves he's made, the things he's said, the things he's done. I think you saw Elon. The part of him that doesn't really have, he's not much of an empath, I think. And I think he just sees the world in ones and zeros. And I think he just doesn't, I don't think he really understood the impact of that, the Nazi salute. And I think he kept wondering, why are you guys so upset about it?
No, he's not wondering. He knows. But his dalliances with the right-wing party in Germany, Italy, UK. So he knows what he's doing.
Too many countries,
yeah.
Farage and yeah.
There's a conspiracy that goes back to his granddad, which who was an American, then ended up in Canada.
South Africa.
No, was in Canada.
In Canada. Oh yeah, Canada.
Then he was arrested for trying to overthrow the government, and said that the West was not for him, and he ended up in South Africa because that was where he felt aligned with his values.
Yeah, that's why I accepted him. I accepted his values. Yeah.
Well, they were not technocrats, but they were people that believed in technologists running the world.
And his father was, his family was quite well off as well. They were quite well off.
Yes, all that stuff say he was being driven to school in a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, it was very well off. Very well. So it's not. It's not a rags to riches story.
No, it's not.
And if you grew up in South Africa, if you grew up a privileged, not just a white man, a privileged white man in apartheid South Africa,
in an African country,
it gives you a certain you're not just in SA, you're not just white, you're also a wealthy, privileged white person. So you're the elite of the elite. And so I think he's had this disconnect all his life between, and if you grew up in apartheid South Africa, I mean, you understand why he has affinity for these white nationalists. And I mean,
Well, yeah,
it's actually quite disgusting. It's actually quite disgusting.
I know why I said I'm not buying another Tesla.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Very,
Bimbo
very
and I had this
understood.
conversation about the SpaceX shares, and Bimbo was like, I'm not giving my money
I'm
to
not-
this guy again. And maybe I'll miss out on a lot of money because of it, but on principle, I'm just not buying
I
this.
can do it. Yeah. You have to stand.
I wish
for
everybody was that.
something.
I wish everybody was that principle, to be honest. I wish everybody was that principle.
I'll probably regret it. I'll probably regret it.
regret not buying Bitcoin from that guy that tried to sell me Bitcoin in Amsterdam that year.
Wow.
And I was just like, yeah, like, why are you trying to sell me Bitcoin? I mean, what's I think it's like the digital currency. I'm like, this guy we're in a coffee shop. We're in a coffee shop in Amsterdam. Whatever it is you're smoking. Whatever it is you're smoking.
Yeah,
I don't want it.
It's the same story.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Digital currency, bow.
I told someone I didn't understand it, that it's never gonna take off.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all have I'm
I'm
sure we have all those stories to share. But how can Musk and Tesla recover?
I think you have to step away from DOGE.
Okay.
Yeah.
And come up with something really innovative. Let's remember how we discovered Elon Musk. It was because he was innovative, right? He was creating things. He was great aspirational.
There's still the Roadster that is taking 250 grand from people that he hasn't brought to market.
Yeah. And I mean, there's the Cybertruck that nobody seems to want to buy.
No, that was a passion project. You either love it or hate it. Yeah.
It's big here. It's big here in Nigeria. People are loving it.
We adopt. We Nigerians, we adopt fads.
So, like the way Hummer was big. Remember Hummer?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Very impractical for our roads.
Yeah,
but hey, people had their Hummers. The other thing of it is, the other side of it is, what has happened to Tesla shares in this time? In December, right? Excuse me, Tesla was trading for over $450 a share. So from the time that,
you have to dial that back though, because I know where you're going, but I just want to interrupt you. But prior to the elections, the shares were a bit. They were beginning to find a level. Immediately, so that run up to 480 or 470 was from election results to December.
Yeah, the hype.
So
it
just went up. So what does that mean? That after
it's finding
that,
its level now?
No, it's actually a pushback. It's hate. It's people selling, people dumping, people not buying the cars because I mean it's his base. It's his base that the people. Okay, so for example, when I got my Tesla, I will literally get. I don't know if you guys know what they call coal rolling, like this pickup trucks, diesel trucks. They will coal roll you. Like coal rolling is they will. There's a way they do it. They pump their gas, then the black smoke comes out of their. So they just do it intentionally. So Tesla owners at that time were tree huggers.
Hated,
yeah, they were hated as the liberal Lenin folks. But all of a sudden, they were leftists, which is not necessarily true, but because it's a practical car, you don't spend on maintenance or anything. But now back to now, it's the people who have taken up for him that he's now very, very vocally against, who he chooses to call the woke, as he calls them, the woke minorities. So I don't know. It's hard. The country is interesting. On the world stage, Americans are, what's the word? They're very passionate. Whichever way they swing hard.
They swing hard.
Yeah, whichever way they swing. So it's like even
America.
It's the country was not founded on handshake, so let's just leave it at that. The kind of people that formed it,
handshake.
it wasn't founded on handshake.
No,
so,
no, it wasn't. It
yeah.
wasn't friendly.
Yes.
It wasn't friendly
Yes.
at all.
So and
It
this.
still,
Lots
it
of
still
violence.
remains unfriendly. One of the ironies for me, and why I thought
Mhm.
that there's a cognitive disconnect between Elon and reality, is during the Trump campaign. I remember one of the campaigns where Trump, I think it was after
I know what
Trump
you're
won,
gonna
when he was
talk
talking
about,
about where we're gonna mine for oil. There'll
Yeah.
be no more EVs, and Musk is on stage
Age come up. Yeah.
dancing. And I'm like, do you not realize that this is the death knell of your company that is being sung, and you're dancing? You're like the man that's dancing over his own grave.
But again, and I forgot to bring now, very, very good point. Because I forgot to bring this up when Ade was
Ade
speaking.
was here, yeah.
If Elon didn't care and there was that pushback, he wouldn't have gone to the White House to try and get Trump to endorse his cars. Because he actually drove the cars to the White House. Trump sat in one that people should buy.
I think Trump bought one. He bought one or something like that.
You never know with that guy.
Yeah.
He said he's buying one. He doesn't drive. He doesn't drive. Who's he buying it for?
It's true. He doesn't drive.
So, but okay, let's say he bought one. Then beyond buying one, he tweets on you don't call it tweet now. He truth socials. He truths on his truth social with his referral code and tells people to go buy. And true story.
And then, but then didn't he then remove all the superchargers from government buildings?
Yes, he did. But that was before this. But look at this. So there's a guy who's a friend who's MAGA. It's one of the first people are like, come and buy this car. It's practical. He kept hesitating and he never got it. I knew it was because
Please don't tell me.
I knew it was because of the linens, which I don't know why. Trump stuff happened on a Thursday or something like that. This guy calls me on a Saturday. I should tell him about my Tesla as a behaving that wants to buy one. Yeah. Which for me, I'm like, dude, I joked with him. I'm like, so all these years, we're in year 8. All these years. Now, because I joked with him, I said, because your gas make you go buy it, now you want to buy.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's time to, He said, no, it's time to upgrade. I'm like, so that part, so those little things, I don't think Elon is ready to walk away. Because he ran to daddy like, they are
help.
They're killing me, help. And he helped. And everybody, on Treasury Secretary was like, oh, buy Tesla shares. It was like, oh, buy the cars. Hannity interviews him and says, buy, like I like buy Tesla. So they actually put in some effort to save the company from dying, to stop the bleed. So I'm not sure he's ready to walk away. And it was shortly after Trump said something like, it's going to leave DOGE sooner than later. He's not doing anything that demands companies of software. He's not doing it for money. I'm thinking he's got gold. If you have data is gold. Once you have he'll know what to do with it. He'll see opportunities.
There'll be opportunities there. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I also think that Tesla, Elon's time at DOGE is up until the end of this quarter. By the time they have to report their quarterly earnings this quarter, if the sales continue to slide and the pushback continues at this rate, I think there'll be judgment call.
Oh, the sales are going to be the sales are even worse than they reported last time, because they, unlike other cars, they just aggregate. They don't tell you by country and everything. They just tell you how many cars. If you look at other car manufacturers, they'll tell you by model or by stuff. His sales are suffering, and I think you see how people who had ordered, who taken delivery, sales are down in Italy almost 80%. Sales are down like almost 90% in Germany.
Scandinavia, where they had
Norway was one of his breaking grounds. Yeah, like it was serious market share, like 90% of the cars there. In the UK, he had already stopped selling the S and the X, so it was just the 3 and the Y. So then it now comes to America. I didn't think a lot of the the right-leaning folks were buying at the time. Not a lot. So who knows? Maybe
they're
maybe they'll
buying
change
now.
their mind. Well, let's see how much they buy.
Let's see.
I'm going to ask
You're talking about the earnings
a
call,
very
right?
tough political question. Yeah, by the time you have all the
The
earnings
earnings
calls,
call, okay.
Boom, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask a very awkward question. Okay, when there's a Niger MAGA person, I want to ask him, when was America great for Black people? And I'm not trying to make this a political conversation, but I really want to ask, because I saw a thing. I saw a Black MAGA thing, and I remember thinking, Black MAGA, so when was America great for you people?
I've talked to a few of them. You have to look beyond what they say. You have to look at where they stand, what they think. And to my estimation, a lot of the Niger MAGA people are Igbos who believe in Biafra, and they think there's something, a long play or something down the line that can help them achieve whatever it is they want to achieve.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is the commonality I found. I've seen.
Okay. I think that with my experience, it's been people with strong conservative values who don't necessarily, so for them, they don't really connect make America great with America in that sense. They use MAGA as an umbrella for being conservative. So it's like a word. They don't dial it down to what it really means. It's
But
not an
your
acronym.
average Nigerian is conservative, though.
Yeah. So
Yes,
they're not.
yes.
My point is they're not seeing MAGA as make America great again. MAGA is not an acronym; it's a word that's synonymous with conservative. We're Christian or we're Muslim, and we have values. And they don't dial it down. When you ask them questions, then it's not really about me. No, it's just about it's anti-woke. Basically, it's you're either woke or MAGA.
They backed the black guy. Yeah, there was an interview with the black guy. So when was it ever great? And they said free something. So when you couldn't vote, he said no.
I saw that interview.
Okay, they said, so when exactly? When? Tell me when, and I'll tell you what you couldn't do at the time.
Yeah,
and it just started.
Was it when you were property?
Yeah, so when you were property, and he said just when the country was great, that they came together to sign the Civil Rights Act. That who fought for the Civil Rights Act? You know, so unfortunately, we are in a time where people get their information from podcasters, blogs, not people who are necessarily experts, just the loudest voices. So I was willing to do research. So we're living in interesting times, which I can say.
I have a question. Is Elon Musk's obsession with free speech helping or harming society? You know, when
he's not obsessed. He's not obsessed with free speech.
Okay,
you don't think he is?
No, I know he's not. He shuts down dissenting voices.
He's done the exact thing he accused.
They complained about on the other side. Everybody, if you go against him, speak too hard against him,
they'll shut anything.
He's shutting down those voices.
So it's giving the appearance of free speech because he allowed people that were previously banned to come back.
Yes, so those people
like Kanye and Trump and so many other figures. Yeah.
So people that confirm his bias, people that are on his side,
and the liberal voices
have been shut,
silenced.
They're the ones that are now
whether it's through the algorithms or whatever it is, but so he's done the exact thing that he accused Jack Dorsey and co of doing.
Yep.
At that time, he said they were silencing conservative voices.
Correct.
Yep.
Now he took over the platform, promising to liberalize it, promising to respect.
And now he's silencing liberals.
That's opposite. Yeah.
I mean, maybe liberals are not, because not everybody that disagree. Some people just don't like what they're saying, right? So not everybody is necessarily.
And some people are in the center.
Anyway, yeah. Most humans are somewhere in the left.
In the center, on the left.
In the center, sorry. So most people are somewhere in the center. They have values they share on the left and have values they share on the right.
On the right, yeah.
But they try to pitch you.
I lean very far left. As you guys both know, I lean very far left.
I don't
But
think
there are
I'm
a lot
that
of
far left.
issues where I lean. Where there are a lot of issues where I lean right.
Yeah.
You know, so you find that when you balance the scales, I might lean more left than the
Yeah.
average Nigerian does, but
Yeah.
I'm not that far left because I still have things that I identify that are right.
Yeah.
So no human. I mean, actually, the human beings that are really very left or very right.
Yeah,
But
they are. No, they are. There's like a lot of
coming from where I'm coming from, you cannot help but have strong conservative
values.
Of course, of course.
on certain things.
Especially if you're brought up in the church. If you
Yeah.
grew up singing Methodist hymns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to church on Sunday. It was my uncle's memorial.
Hallelujah.
You know, exactly. And they were playing the hymn, they were singing the hymn, and I just felt that thing. You know, that when we're growing up and we heard these hymns, you know,
it's a thing, yeah.
It's comforting, right? But I remember just thinking, so is this, you know, when the hymn was over, I was still, so the hymn was going, and there was, and I could hear my cousins on the other side of the aisle, but your deep voices, you know, and they were there singing, and there's this warmth you get doing it. It's ritual, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for the next 2 days, you're still humming those hymns in your head.
I still hum the hymns.
And then I saw somebody. Yeah, I saw somebody who said, one of the WhatsApp group, one of my primary school WhatsApp groups, that why don't churches sing hymns?
In your primary school WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone from my primary school.
Wow. So I have one. So I have like 3-4 friends from primary school. But you know, my friend Moyo, incidentally, who was my best friend from primary 2.
Me too.
He's remained, yes, we've remained firm friends since that time. Our children are now best friends in the same class in school.
That's awesome.
And so because Moyo is this pretty amazing guy who is an ex-school officer in our primary school WhatsApp group, or in our primary school alumni group, and in the secondary school alumni group, he's very active, and his university alumni group is very active. So
he's one of those guys.
I was dragged he's one of those guys. So I was dragged
a community organizer.
You know, look, left to me, my university alumni group, I'm not part of them. I don't, you know. I went to how many secondary schools? I don't talk in those groups or whatever it is. But
I'm not in my secondary school
gets
group.
me, you know. You know what? I find that I have so little in common with people I went to school with. It's quite ridiculous. You know?
That's interesting. I don't remember anyone from my primary school.
Wow.
I remember 4 or 5 people.
Oh, you do?
I know like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah. So
I went to a secondary school where one of my friends was 50. One of my seniors was 50 over the weekend. Well, they're twins, so they're 50 over the weekend. And I went to their birthday party. It was on Friday. Anyway, and there were people these guys were my seniors in secondary school. And I remember seeing I knew maybe 2-3 faces there. And then as I started talking, secondary school. And I was like, okay, I know that guy. I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy. You know, but some people, you remember their face. Now, if I had seen that guy on the road, I probably wouldn't recognize him. But in that environment, around those faces, you can suddenly, okay, I remember that guy from. Whereas if I'd seen that guy and thought that guy looks familiar, but I can't remember where from. Now I can see him and, I know that guy, you know, from, So I know a few faces like that. My primary school alumni group, I know like 5 people because I go to meetings and go, I know like 5 people.
I can't. So it's different for me. It's different from me. So primary
You're
school.
An old man now.
No, it's not even the age. I spent maybe like just 3 years or less than 4 years in primary school. I remember a name, one girl that she would cry every time they call, first, second, third, anytime she didn't beat me. Her name was Stephen Talkback, but that was it. But I left. I went to FGC. So my memory for school starts at FGC. And because it was boarding house, that one I remember very well. Like juniors, seniors, I mean, like Oye, Benga, like they were. So I remember very, very well because we were in boarding school and we all knew each other. So that one is, but primary school. Beyond the name of the school, I mean, I know the school. I'll tell you where it is, but I can't remember anyone from there. I remember a single person.
I went to
Well, it was
my
also a long time. It
university.
was also a long time ago.
Yeah, let's not carbonate ourselves here. I mean, you don't have we don't have much gray hair because your hair is all red. But
It's still
gray
gray.
everywhere.
It's still wet. It's still got some gray there.
I remember going to my university, my undergrad. I think it was a 20th year anniversary thing, and people were asking, "Did you go to our school? Did you go to our school?" Because nobody knew who I was. So, did you go to our? Were you in our class? Did you go to our school? And yeah, guys I went to law school with, and I run into today, and I'm like, "You went to law school together?" I don't remember you, but I remember some faces from primary school. I don't know why. I remember a few faces from primary school. A few faces stand out from secondary school. I saw a guy on Friday that had punished me. He was my senior, was my friend, you know.
But that was
And
secondary
he had
school,
like
though. Not,
brain, yeah, I had a brain, secondary school, I had a brain touch. So I said to him, I said, "Oh, you." I said, "You punished me around." I was telling someone, I said, "This guy." So I suddenly remembered him, and I was like, "This guy punished me one day randomly." And he said, "Hey, you must have been naughty." No, didn't touch me. I said, no. Allow me. That guy used to have like episodes.
like a brain touch.
Yeah. So don't.
No, we
like,
didn't
don't feel
diagnose
bad.
it then. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, don't feel bad. Because I was like, I said, this guy that I was playing with this guy one day, and he just flipped on me and started to beat me. You know, and I didn't understand. I didn't know what I did. So I said, Shani, this your classmate, this your guy did this, and she was like, that guy was special. He was special. But you know, the things that stay with you. This incident would have been more than 30 years ago. All right.
Oh no, I'll remember
that guy's face stayed with me. It stayed with me that this guy randomly. And you remember the things that people do to you. Remember how they made you feel. And you want people to remember you because you made them feel good about themselves. But sometimes you're going to remember somebody because they made you feel the exact opposite. And in this particular case, this guy just made me feel really bad. And seeing him brought back that trauma. This guy, this a-hole guy. Sorry, I know we don't swear on this podcast, but
no. Some of the wickedness was
we need to take that on another
show.
And we have to do a 50 for 50 as well, because getting a lot of invites, people are doing a lot of destinations. Yes, so
yeah,
Africa seems to be a hot place.
I just got back from Turkey.
Yeah, Senegal, Kenya, Cape Town, Accra.
Really?
Yeah. People planning a lot of like destination 50th birthdays parties.
That thing is expensive.
Yeah.
Not cheap. It's not cheap.
A bunch of guys I know just took over some African country over the weekend for somebody's 50th. They were like 40 boys.
40
boys. 40. 40 guys. I won't name the African country they went to because this podcast goes international. But yeah, I mean 40 guys for somebody's 40th, for someone's 50th birthday.
50th, okay.
Yeah, it was quite crazy. It's quite crazy. I don't know. We're getting to that age.
I've done mine, so
yeah. You don't look 50 though. You don't look 50.
No,
I remember when my father was turning 50.
At all.
That old guy.
Oh no, it was an old man. Like, old man.
He wore agbada.
Yeah, exactly. They were not. They didn't even behave young.
No.
Yeah.
This
when they come back, they're drinking. Yeah.
This party I went to on Friday, I was wearing jeans and shirt and some loafers, and I walk in and everybody's wearing agbada.
Yes. You should wear agbada.
Yes.
I look like their younger brother.
You should wear agbada.
So I had to ask them, why you wear agbada?
There are a lot of guys in their 30s even wearing a lot of agbada these days.
I've been wearing agbada for a long time. I wear agbada since I was regular since I was 30 years old. I mean, I've worn it for a long time. I was a young man doing an old man's job. But my thing is, it is a 50th birthday party. Are you serious? Is it? I'll tell you my agbada story. I'll tell you my agbada story was one of my clients, his daughter was getting married, and I was invited. And I arrived at the event. I'm just wearing buba and shokota and slippers, just casually. But the man is like, "Oh, come and sit on the high table, come on." And I felt really small because I was just dressed casually.
You were
I felt really
underdressed.
small.
Yeah.
I was underdressed. And so I got back home and I said to my father, that, this is what happened. And he said, well, I keep telling you that you're a young man doing an old man's job. And so you need to sort of dress the part.
The part, yeah.
You have to dress the part. And I tell you something. So Taylor came in, made me a few agbadas. And I would go to it. My friends would notice I was a guy that wore agbadas to events.
Mm.
I never felt underdressed. I never felt underdressed. From that day, I walk in and the weather adds like visibly like 10 years to my age, like stature.
So, yeah.
Like,
it has presence. It
has presence.
It adds presence to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, but now I'm older and I don't want to wear that body anymore. Now I'm just with my buba.
Now you want to wear jeans. You want to hold back behind the frame. Yeah.
The opposite of everybody.
You know what? I used to wear jeans to weddings. Remember? I used to wear jeans to weddings.
Yeah, with a white shirt and you roll your sleeves.
Well, why should I jean? I wear my sleeves. Yeah, because I was just rebellious. I will wear agbada to the engagement, but the actual white wedding, I'm wearing my jeans and trainers. Rocking it. You guys remember when I was getting married? And I was like, guys, come on, wear your trainers, because man, I'm wearing trainers to this wedding.
Did you wear trainers?
At my wedding, yes, I wore jeans. After the church, at the reception, I wore jeans. I wore jeans and red trainers, man. Jeans.
Our reception was a different
My wife
story.
would have shot me. My wife would have shot me if I tried to wear trainers to the church. She'd have shot me.
Of course.
If I was getting married today, I will rock it today. I will do it today.
No, I had to leave your reception and look for someone's house down the road.
Yeah, Daily Belly.
every time I enter Niger, always I scatter my system. And I've not even eaten yet.
No, it's just the air.
Just the air and the heat. Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Yeah, should we just wrap
I
up?
want to say that.
Yeah.
If you're watching this show, please like, subscribe. Please be kind to us. Show us your support. Share this video with someone who might enjoy it. And if you'd like to be like Red and join us in this show, please send us an email at twogrownmen@gmail.com. We're on we now have TikTok. We have TikTok now.
Tick.
TikTok. So we're Two Grown Men on TikTok, Two Grown Men on Instagram, Two Grown Men on Twitter X. And I want to say to Ade and to Red for joining us today. Gracias.
Absolute pleasure.
Absolutely amazing having you here. And I think this conversation is not dead yet.
I'll come back if you have me.
We've extended an open invite anytime, Brad. You're welcome to this.
All right.
Yeah. Please, let's talk about anything. Yeah.
I can talk for days. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We know.
Yeah. Well,
interesting conversation, guys. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, guys. Like I said, rate, like, subscribe.
Red, are you on any socials? You want to share with people that want to follow you?
Red has a podcast. Red is a geek.
I have a comic. I have a comic book.
You know what, Red? Yeah. We're going to talk about your comic.
Life. Okay.
Yeah, about your love for comics.
Oh yeah.
So we would love to talk about that. Actually, I think that would be a great topic. Lon, what do you think?
Yeah,
bring comics.
I think we'll bring Jerry on as well. I think we'll bring him
Marvel.
Who?
Let's
Jerry.
Pinocchio.
Oh yeah, you know I met him I saw him over the weekend, and I just got him back. I just got him back. He actually just sent me a message.
Really?
As I was coming in on what app to use to read comics, because he wants to get back in.
Fantastic. Well, he's talk about it.
Reading, yeah. Okay. Yep. All right then, guys. Thank you.
Odaro.
I'm out. Okay.
Odabo.
Good night.
Odabo. Say goodbye.
Thanks, Red. Thanks, everyone.